few things to consider about windows. One is condensation. Condensation may form on the inside face of the glass or the window frame, or it could form in between the panes of glass. The second thing to consider is the weep holes. You want to make sure the weep holes at the base of the window are clear and free so as to allow for proper drainage of the window assembly. The third thing is at the corner joints of the window. You want to make sure the sealant there is in good shape to prevent any water entry into the wall cavities.
Whenever looking at balconies, you want to remember the 4 Ds in building envelope design. The first one is drainage. You want to make sure that water is able to drain off the balcony either through the slats or off the balcony itself. Number 2 is drying. You want to make sure that the sun's able to hit it and evaporate as much water as possible. As you can see, there's a lot of moss here that might not be working for this particular balcony. The third D is deflection. So as you can see here, there's a nice roof eave to ensure that a majority of the water never even touches the balcony or the door itself. The fourth D is durability. You want to make sure when constructing the balcony that you construct it with the most durable materials. Wood is a good material, but it has to be maintained and coated. Another important aspect of durability is to make sure that none of the wood materials are touching or near the grade level. So one of the easiest things to look for when you're on a balcony is water ponding. So in this particular case, there's a little bit of water right here, even though it hasn't rained at all today. Now this is bad for a couple of reasons. One is, it's easier for water to penetrate at these locations. The fasteners are penetrating into the membrane. The second thing is that the water does magnify UV. So this particular area is going to deteriorate the most out of all the rest of the membrane. And so whenever you do see a little bit of water ponding, it's always best to give it a good sweep so you get rid of all the excess moisture and organic debris. Another thing that you can look at when you're on a balcony is how well it's sloped. Now this looks like a well-sloped balcony. However, in this case, we look like we might have a negative lap. And what that means is this part of the membrane was installed after this part. So we have a little bit of a negative lap here, which means it's possible for water to get in between these two membrane sections. Roofing is a very important part of the building envelope, and therefore roof maintenance should be a very important part of any long-term maintenance plan. One of the most important types of roof maintenance is to clear and clean all the organic debris in the gutters and in the drain pipes. If you don't do that, the water can build up and start to infiltrate into your building envelope assembly. One of the easiest things to review on a house is wall cladding. Now in this particular case, there's a little bit of damage, probably from a combination of people playing sports and the UV. We are on the south elevation, so it will see a little bit more sun, but we do want to keep the cladding intact for a few reasons. We want to try and minimize the air, moisture, and vapor that go into the wall assembly, and we also want to mitigate the amount of pests and insects that get in here. One of the important things about reviewing a house like this is seeing how the landscaping affects the building envelope. So in this case, what we see is some vine that's actually penetrating into the building envelope. And that's bad for a few reasons. One is it easily lets water in through the branches and the roots. The second is it actually lets air into the building envelope and into the interior of the building. And third, it lets pests and insects into the building envelope and potentially deteriorate the wood framing. When you're looking at the structure of any property, one of the easiest things to look at is the columns, especially the ones that support the balcony. So in this case here, we see some painting that's starting to peel and craze, and you're also seeing a little bit of deterioration at the base of the wood. Now what you want to do to fix this is a few things. One is you can clad the entire post to give that extra layer of moisture protection. The other thing, what you can do is paint the base of this wood column to protect the wood. One thing you don't want to do is apply sealant at the bottom and impede any water from escaping.